More details about the new iPad Air 2, and it will allow for burst selfies. So not only can you take selfies, you can take a lot of selfies in a row. I mean, how cool is that?
Kill me. Sorry. I don't think we need tablet selfies to be that much encouraged.
Touch ID, faster Wi-Fi, dual microphones.
Okay. Touch ID is something that has become a real saving throw on the bigger iPhones, right? It's easier to unlock them. It's easier to get at stuff. When you're authenticating, security is very important right now, especially to Apple. Having Touch ID integrated with apps like 1Password and Dashlane is really a big deal. Faster Wi-Fi is very good, especially because people are using these as laptop replacements. Thinner, they were saying you can stack 2 of these on top of each other, and it's still thinner than an original iPad.
Paul, how are you feeling? Are you still feeling meh?
Oh, I'm still meh. So, yeah, no, it hasn't changed very much. You know, this is exactly what we thought we would see, and, you know, we're seeing it. And we're seeing it, as someone was saying, I just saw in my Twitter stream about how they're going on relentlessly about thin, as if that's the only thing that matters in the universe with respect to tablets. You know, none of this changes the fundamental problem Apple has, which is that, you know, the purchasing cycle for tablets is much slower than phones, and there's been the real loss of momentum in the tablet market, and making these devices thinner isn't really going to change all of that. It doesn't change the fundamental problem that it has, you know, in that market. And the thing that worries me in particular is that all of this just reminds me of what Cook is good at, which is to say optimization, making things thinner, improving battery life, and what he's bad at, which is, you know, really doing stuff that makes you say, oh my goodness, Apple's doing what? That's crazy. You're not ever going to get that from Cook, but you are going to get thinner devices and longer battery life.
The watch doesn't count?
No, I don't think it does. I think the watch is one of these things that, you know, was sort of a natural extension of what they did. I don't think anyone, well, maybe there are people who are really excited about it. I mean, it's into a category that seemed largely stale for a long, long time, you know. So I guess it's more at the margin. But most of what he's doing in the products is more just saying, here's another natural evolution. Here's another natural evolution. Not here's something altogether new that can really drive growth going forward and change the valuation of the company.
Joe, you said earlier, you know, the future of Apple is bright. It's not necessarily happening at this particular event today. Will we see any surprises? Is there anything unexpected? What else do they have for us?
I think the rumor blogs are going to have it 100%. We're going to see iPads, Yosemite, iOS 8.1, which they need to unveil soon because, or I guess they did because iOS 8 was just a disaster, and then Retina iMacs, basically. You know, more geared towards home video editing, better screen resolution.
John? What else? What else is to come?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any surprises today, Emily. But I think, you know, I do think thin is something, right? It's not, you know, they're making these products better. They're keeping them at the front, and and that's exciting. You know, like I said before, sometimes it's innovation, sometimes it's evolution. Right?
I've been using my new thinner iPhone 6, and I love it. It's better.
It's fine. I mean, you know, it's a very...
Gosh, it's all fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I wish this thing was great. I mean, I got this for Apple Pay, frankly. I mean, that and because I switch every year between Apple and Android, but Android's lapping Apple.
You're so democratic.
No, I'm just trying to be able to edit stuff. But yeah, I mean, this phone is pretty vanilla, and I think the iPads as an innovation are fairly vanilla too. That said, like every year, if you don't have an iPad, it's probably good to get the new one, so that's good for them.
All right, so Paul, where does Apple go from here? If the iPad is becoming a smaller part of their business, though it is still 15 to 20% of revenue, what's going to grow? Is it all about phones? The watch is supposed to be a niche product. You know, what else do they have?
It's not clear what they have. They're more rapidly ruling things out, you know. So this is my disappointment, you know, and I gave you the example earlier of not buying some cloud services like Spotify or like Dropbox, and instead ending up in the completely baffling decision of owning Beats, which just, you know, makes absolutely no sense, and I can't imagine how that's going to change. So, you know, there are obvious things they could have done and should be doing, and yet they're not doing it as they focus on these, you know, sub-optimization of, you know, battery life and thinner iPads. It feels like Dell circa 1996, you know, and people are getting excited about a couple of more megahertz or gigahertz of clock speed, and it's like, wow.
People are disagreeing with you right here. Just quickly, we only have a few seconds left.
I think buying Beats was buying Jimmy Iovine, and that's somebody who can negotiate with content providers and maybe get them a little leg up in TV.